to measure and mark your housing joint, you'll need your cutting list, you'll need your pencil box, and your steel rule, and your marking gauge, and the tri-square. And of course you'll need your wood. These are the two sides that you're working on. You have the line across here, which is the top of your shelf. And now we're going to mark the joint out. Now to do this, you'll need a piece of wood the thickness of your shelf. And you can just use your top or your bottom for now. We're going to lay your wood physically on your sides so that the line just shows, and that's all. And with a sharp pencil, you're going to make a mark, the thickness of the wood. And you will remember doing this on your rebate joint, something similar. Then you have two lines. With your tri-square, square through this line, and then following the rules of measuring twice, we're going to lay the shelf, or not the shelf, but the wood back on, and you want it to sit exactly between the two lines. So you'll only have pencil line and pencil line showing. And that's really important. So that's our double check. Now we can separate these pieces and square across the inside of the wood, keeping your stock on the face edge and the face side as you do so. This is really worth marking out carefully, because you don't want your housing joint to be too tight and you don't want it too loose either. Make sure your lines match up. And just those three surfaces. It's important not to do it on the face because it would be easy to turn it over and work on the wrong side. And do that on your other piece. You've marked the other housing joint. Now push them together and just make sure that they line up. And lay your wood on again. You can't do this too many times, just to make sure that there's just pencil line and pencil line the other side. There's one more line that we need to mark, and that's the depth of the housing. How deep are we going to make it? And on your cutting list we decided that it was 5 millimeters deep. So we're going to set the marking gauge to 5 mils by hanging the rule out over the edge and laying it down just like you did for your rebate joint, and pop it to 5 mil. Once it's set, it'll do both sides. Now if you don't have a vise, you can do this on the top of the table by hand, and I'll show you both ways. For this time, the stock on your marking gauge is going to rest not against the face side this time, on the non-face side. So pick your piece up and have it supported, and make a line between the two lines. Now because of the shadows I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to change positions. Now there's nothing to stop you going over that line, so put a little dot on this side of that line farthest away from you, and then you will feel when you've reached it. Then turn the wood over. Again, a little mark. Start on the non-face side first, because then if there are any little accidents that first time, then it won't show on the front of your project. Now we'll do the other one in the vise. To mark it out in the vise, place your wood so that the face side is on your left and make that dot above that line, on this side I mean, and you can see you've got something to hold your wood, so it's that little bit easier. Just flip it over. This is now your face, so be careful you don't go over your line, got your dot to help you. And if you like, you can go over that with a pencil so you can see it easier. That side and that side. Now we need to mark the waist. We're going to mark the waist on 3 parts of the joint, including the edges. That's really important. Then you can be certain of the right piece to cut out. We're now ready to saw and chisel the housing joint.